Hey, it's Julie here from Story a Day, and I'm here today to tell you that if you like to write writing prompts, today is your lucky day because it's Wednesday, and every Wednesday at Story a Day I do a Write on Wednesday prompt. Now, I was having a conversation with somebody from my Superstars group, which is our group coaching and mentorship program in Story a Day, and he was sort of confessing a little shamefacedly that he does much better with writing prompts and finds it very hard to just sit down and write a story in a vacuum. And I thought it was funny that he was a little embarrassed about that. And I very quickly said, don't even worry about that, because too much choice is a bad thing. And when you sit down and think to yourself, oh, I could write, I wish I had time to write, that's one thing. But oh, I wish I when I do find time to write or make time to write, I sit down and I don't know what to write about. Or maybe you have too many ideas. If you can write about anything, then it's easier to write about nothing. So every week I give you prompts, and especially in this month, I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff at the blog, storyaday.org, to encourage you to short circuit, to get from as quickly as possible from the idea of writing something to the act of doing it, with none of the faffing about, none of the preamble, none of the, oh well, what if, and maybe my pencils all need to be sharpened and things like that. So pop over to the blog, storyaday.org, and you will find a prompt. And this week it's a picture prompt, and the picture is really just there to inspire you to knock some ideas loose in your head. I could give you more strict rules. Like, if you like strict rules, here's your strict rule. You must use the prompt in your story. You must use an object that you see in the prompt in your story. If, however, you are more rebellious, then just look at the picture. Think about who could be in that picture, what are they doing, what could cause them to be at that place and at that time in this moment, and just start fleshing out your story from there. I would recommend that you use the Story a Day short story framework to help you brainstorm your story and start getting it going. You don't need to flesh out the whole story, but you can use sections of the framework, then start writing, then use the next section of the framework, then keep writing, then use the final section of the framework, just to make sure that you're aiming the end of the story where you wanted it to go and with the mood that you want it to have. So get a hold of the short story framework. There's a link for that in the blog post, and try and get the story written today, or if not today, this week, within one 24-hour period. Get a draft of it knocked out quickly, so that it doesn't become something that you started and that you haven't finished, and that sort of hangs over you psychically. Behind that mirror back there's a whole bunch of knitting projects that I have started, and occasionally I will have to pull a couple out and finish them before I can allow myself to start something else, because these unfinished projects carry a sort of weight, and they linger in the back of your brain, and they tell you that you're worthless and that you can't finish anything, and so all you have to do is finish something, and it makes you feel so much better. So my challenge to you is to go to the blog, look at the prompt, the picture prompt, use the short story framework to map out a story that you might like to tell, or a character you might like to tell a story about, and get it written within 24 hours of starting sometime this week. And then the final thing is to come back to the blog and leave a comment and let me know you've done it. Bonus points if you rope in a bunch of friends and challenge each other and keep each other accountable, because that is sort of the secret weapon of Story a Day and other challenges like it for getting stuff done, is a little bit of accountability. So I'll be that for you. If you want to comment on the blog today, tell me you're going to write the story, and then come back and tell me that you have written the story, that will be fabulous. If you can rope in a bunch of friends, forward the post to them and challenge them to write a story this week as well, that would be even better. All right, keep writing, and I'll be back to talk more about writing soon.